Hello, 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 filter-free America listeners. We are back together. How have you been? Everything good? Guess what? This is the first, well, no, it's not the first episode I've recorded in 2019 because I actually recorded this before the end of 2018, but I'm just now recording the intro for it, and it's in 2019. Oh man. So this is like kind of the first episode. It's getting released in 2019. There you go. That's the thing. It's getting released in 2019. So this is first intro I recorded in 2019, not the first episode I've recorded in 2019. That sounded better in my head until I started saying it. And then it's like, it just sounds stupid. Whatever. This is another episode of the Filter Free America podcast, regardless of when you're listening to it. Maybe it's not even 2019 when you're listening to it. Maybe the something weird happened on Earth, right? And all the population died, and then all of our technology and all of our records and everything was destroyed except all the files to the Filter Free America podcast. And somehow some futuristic, what are those people that dig stuff? I can't remember. It starts with an A. I can't even think of the name right now. It's very early in the morning here. I'm trying to get some stuff done before I go to work. Archaeologists, thank you. Right? I'm saying thank you to myself. I thought of it. Oh, thank you. Good job. Your brain at work. Thanks, brain. Some archaeologists is like digging, and they find this precious few remaining files of past world history. And all it is Filter Free America podcast episode. Holy shit. That would be the only record left of all humanity, would be episodes of Filter Free America, which in all honesty are 40% at least of just me talking about masturbation and dicks and shit. So that would be like the record that would be left in this future. These beings, maybe they're travel from another planet, these interstellar archaeologists, they're like, holy shit, we're really glad this population died because they're just jerking off all day, apparently, and then talking about it into a microphone. So I'm sorry if that ever happens. I'm apologizing in advance if for some reason, by some stroke of luck, some stroke of luck, the Filter Free America podcast is the legacy for humanity. Holy shit. I feel like I have a lot more responsibility now. I'm not going to stop talking about jerking off, though. I don't know. I'll stop talking about it when I stop doing it. How about that? Hey, we got a cool episode. I'm making myself laugh so early in the morning. I got a cool episode for you today. Guest is a artist. He is an artiste. He does all kinds of art, specifically comic book art. His name is Doug Kallberg. And he is with Free Range Comics. I say he's with it. That's his company, Free Range Comics. Let me tell you, it's free as in the words free, range as in the word range, comics as in the word comics, all one word, .com. That's his website. You can go to his website. You can see his art. You can get links to his Instagram and to his Twitter and all that at Free Range Comics. But he is a very, very talented artist. And he is actually the artist that I chose to do the album art for my upcoming CD release, Neck Tattoos and GDs, or The Secret to My Success. When you see the CD cover, if you see the art, I've already posted on Facebook and on Instagram and stuff. He drew that. This is his art. He took my vision, sculpted it, made it better, and boom, there it is. And it's fucking dope, and I really, really like it. But he's the guy that drew that. So I wanted to talk to him, like if I'm going to have him do my art, I'm going to have him be a guest on my podcast, 2 birds, 1 stone. So we came in and not only we talked about art, but he also deals with a significant amount of depression. So that's what the conversation kind of centers around. We start out talking about his art, how he got into art, how he developed as an artist, what he's doing with his art, art products that he makes that you can buy, that you can consume, that I hope you do. And then we talk about the depression and how that affected his life and his work as a comic. So it's a very interesting kind of a multi-angle episode here. You get to hear a little bit from an independent comic artist, and then you get to hear about how depression affects that specific type of job in life, or at least how it affects him. I guess individually. I guess depression can affect anybody in different ways. Uh, so yeah, so you get to see a lot of that, and just to kind of give you just a glimpse, since I can't really show you pictures because it's an audio podcast, guys. Um, it's very how to describe his art. It's like playful looking, but it's very dark, right? Like he might have like a cutesy character in a comic book, but that cutesy character is going to do some fucked up shit or say something fucked up. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. I fucking love it. I bought some multiple copies of his comics that he had on hand when he came in, and they're you're gonna love them. If you like this show, you're gonna love that, right? You're gonna love these comic books. So definitely go to freerangecomics.com and check out Doug's work after you get done listening to this podcast about him, because you're gonna like him, because he's a very funny guy too. He's got some very dark humor moments in the podcast, and it's very funny. Like what else? We talk about how he learned to draw, art as a business. We talk about his most regular strip that he did, which was called Pandora's Box, but he does a bunch of other ones too. But he also talks about like in school when he was a kid learning how to do art, he would draw naked women, and like other kids would pay him for pictures of naked women so they could jerk off. Look, see, we worked it in. There it is. Masturbation is now in this episode too. Future space archaeologist. But yeah, so that's a funny story there too as well. But there's a lot of good stuff in there. And again, we get in, as the episode progresses, we get in kind of the darkness of the depression, talk about that too. So maybe some of you guys can relate to that. Guys and gals can relate to that. And at least, if you're like me, get a better understanding of it as well too. I know it exists. I know it's a thing. But I don't know if I understand it, as I should be. Definitely not to any kind of expert level. So yeah, that's who the guest is. What else? Oh, let me do my promotional stuff. If you don't know yet, if you haven't been there yet, if you've just been listening and unaware, even though I've been screaming into this microphone, the website is officially up. Filterfreeamerica.com is the website. America misspelled with a K. Replace the C with a K. Filterfreeamerica.com is up. And you can go there right now, and you can get links to all the places where you can listen to this podcast for absolutely free. You can actually listen to it on the website itself. What else is on there? There's links to my Instagram. There's links to the Filter Free America Facebook page that you guys should all need to go like and review on there. Give me a 5 rating, whatever it is over there on Facebook land. Do that. What else is on there? I don't know. I'm sitting in front of a computer. I guess I could just look at it as I'm talking to you. That would really make for horrible podcasting, but I'm doing it anyway. But you go to the website and check it out, and you'll see link to to my Instagram page, Facebook, Twitter, and all that. All the basic stuff. But what's most important about the website is there's a tab that you can click called the Contact tab. Sadly, no, that's not a contact tab that you clicked to get a contact high when I'm smoking. No. What it is a way for you to message this podcast and message me, because I'm the one answering the podcast emails. So you message that, and you can send me any kind of messages you want that way. Filterfreeamerica.com. America misspelled with a K. Send, I don't know, like letters about how much you like the podcast, or letters about how much you hate the podcast and what you hate about it and what you hate about me or what you like about me, right? I'm sure not everybody hates me, right? One of those things. Yeah, so do that. Any kind of mail, guest requests, anything you got, go to filterfreeamerica.com, click on the contact tab. Boom, there we are. What else we got to do? We're talking about the artist of the CD, right? I'm pretty sure, 99.9% sure, I'll know for sure in a couple more days, because I got one more studio session to do some final editing of it. But the digital release for my very first stand-up comedy CD, Neck Tattoos and GEDs, or The Secret to My Success, will be January 21st, 2019, Martin Luther King Day, one of my personal heroes. So I said, what a cool day to do it. I'm going to do it on MLK Day. That's a Monday this year. I don't know if it's always a Monday, but whatever. It's going to be ready for a digital release. Hopefully I'll have all the stuff done where it'll be on the website where you can go there, but it's going to be on iTunes. It's going to be on all that stuff too. So definitely be ready for that. If you want to purchase the CD, I'm definitely willing to sell you a copy. It's like, no, I'm not going to sell you. I've recorded it and I will keep it locked away forever for no one to hear. No, I want you to buy it. I want you to consume it. I'm very proud of it. I'm very happy with it. So it ended up being a full length CD. I thought I was going to be like an EP length, and I just had a moment on stage, and you're going to get a full. I think it's 50 minutes, 50-minute CD, and it's good, and I'm very proud of it. So yeah, and that's another reason. That's why you need to go to the website now, right? filterfreeamerica.com, America misspelled with a K, and then click a link to like the Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram and like all that stuff, okay? Because I'm going to be giving away some cool shit when the CD comes out. Not only am I going to give away free copies of the CD to people, I'm going to give away, I've got a bunch of cool, dope decals for the podcast made. They're super sweet. They're nice, big size decals. I'm going to give a lot of those away. I'm going to give away, I've got some t-shirts coming and some other stuff coming as well too. T-shirts are going to be about the podcast, not the CD. But in celebration of the release of the CD, I'm kind of, mixing it in with the promotion of the podcast. So I'm going to give away some podcast stickers, all that stuff too. But I'm going to find the people I'm going to give them to via, social media and contacts, right? People who mail me messages via the website, people who liked and followed the Filter Free America podcast page, Instagram and all that. I'm going to put up notices after the CD releases, ways that you can get some free gear, free stuff, absolutely free. I'm even going to pay for the shipping. I'm even going to do that, right? 100% free. I'm going to get it sent to you. Maybe it's going to be some physical copies of the CD, because there's coming too. There's going to be an actual physical copy CD you can own, right? Or maybe it's just going to be some digital downloads. It's going to be a combination of all that stuff. Who knows? Whatever. So yeah, let me get that out there. What else I got to do? I guess emails, I got that. Oh, please rate and review the podcast. Please, please, please go to, especially if you're listening to Filter Free America on iTunes, give it a 5-star rating. Give me a review. Help me get some, expand my numbers a little bit. I can't do this without you, and I'm willing to admit that, and that's why I'm offering to give away free shit. But it's good free shit. It's high quality, those like super nice t-shirts I'm getting made. There's the ones that just kind of wrap around your body and you just feel all good. Just yeah, one of those t-shirts. I don't sell cheap shit, man. I don't do it. I don't know ever. What else? Let me plug my sponsor real fast before we toss this episode. Simplewebsite.us. Simplewebsite.us. They are the people that you go to if you're interested in building a Squarespace website. But as easy as it is to make a Squarespace website, you want it to be easier and you want it to be done by people who have more talent than you. These people do. Simplewebsite.us. They have mastered all the tools and all the tricks involved with building really cool websites on Squarespace, right? They're like, we can do this really well. Let's have other people do it. And I'm glad they did, okay? Because not you, but me, I'm an idiot when it comes to technology, and I need all the help that I can get. And Simple Website did absolutely everything on my website. I'm like, yeah, I want some pictures, and I want some clicky shit on there, and things like that. Can you do that? And they're like, fuck yeah, we can do that. Boom, boom, boom. And there it is. It's up. And so when you go to the website, you can actually see an example of their work. Filter Free America, America misspelled with a K.com. And that was built completely, entirely, with absolutely no help from me whatsoever. Actually, I was probably a burden. I probably slowed them down quite a bit with my dumbness. But simplewebsite.us, they made my website. There's an example of it. Check it out. See what they can do. Make sure all the functions work. You see it all works really good. See, it's very cool looking. I like it. I love it. You will too. Simplewebsite.us, they're the people that need to go to. Now, to be clear, simplewebsite.us will not just only build your website from start to finish. They also, if you just need a little bit of help, right? One or two things, they'll do that too. They're not going to try to hit you up for, no, we're not going to give you any secrets unless you pay us to completely build your website. No, they're not like that. They'll help you with some minor things as well too. And even if you go to their site, simplewebsite.us, you'll find some free stuff. You don't even have to talk to them. You just go and take some of their knowledge as a gift that they left you, and you can use that and build your own website and do whatever you want. But if you need help, again, simplewebsite.us is the people to help you out. Also, special shots out to my good buddy Joey. Another Joey. Joey's are good people. Joey, and if Joey, if I slander your last name, it's only because I'm an idiot. It's nothing to you. It's Piemonte, Piemonte. Anyway, that's how you spell his last name. I'm probably saying it wrong. Again, I'm a dummy. But he owns this cool company, right? And they are. Is it in Denver? It's in Colorado. I know that. I can't remember if it's in Denver, the city Denver proper, or a surrounding city. But whatever, you'll find him very easily. And his company is Hangover Candle Company. Hangover, like what you're maybe suffering from right now. Candle Company, and he's cool, man. He repurposes old bottles, right? Like a 40-ounce bottle, because some OE, right? And he like trims them some kind of way. I didn't ask him how he trims them. I'm assuming lightsaber, right? Because he cuts cleanly through the glass, and it makes like a vessel, in which he makes candles in, right? And I found him. I think I heard him on another podcast. I was like, let's go check out what he's got, because I like to support people. And he had some dope candles. I'm like, dude, you got some candles with some skulls in it. I like candles. I always burn candles in the studio. I want some candles with some skulls or some skeletons on it. And boy, did he provide. And he found like these craft beer bottles, and their logos had these like skeletons and skulls and stuff on them. And he sent me a bunch of examples. I picked a few that I liked. And then you get to pick the flavors, right? Like I picked this one. I'm sniffing it right now. This is not a lit one. Trust me, I'm not putting a lit one in my face. You hear me smelling? Do you hear me sniffing that? That's good radio right there. It's chocolate. Can you smell it? How good are these microphones? It's like a chocolate thing. It's so fucking dope. And then he's got this other one, and it smells really good. I can't remember what it was. It's some fancy name, but it smells fucking dope anyway. But whatever. When you go to him and you check him out, right? Send him an email at Hangover Candle Company, or CO is hangovercandleco@gmail.com. Send him a message. He's on Facebook as well too. Hangover Candle just is what it is on Facebook. And you say, hey, dude, I want some candles, and he'll make them literally to order. Like give you your scent that you want and style of glass and the whole 9 yards. So it was very cool to get those. And he's like sent me some decals and some stuff too. It was cool doing business with him, and that's what I like to do. Like I know I probably heard him on a podcast that I like, and I was like, let's go support him. Support the podcast, whatever. And then that's how I got to know him. And hopefully I'll get to meet him. I want to go to Denver soon after the CDs are, released. I'm going to go there and do some comedy. So hopefully we're running into each other there. But again, Hangover Candle Company. Is that everything? I think everything. Check. Oh, we need a name for this episode. We need to kick this episode off. We need an episode. We're talking to Doug. Doug's a comic book artist as well, just a general artist, and super good dude, fun dude to talk to. We talked about his comic book art, and we talked about depression. Let's make it simple. Art and depression with Doug Kallberg. That's the episode right there. Art and depression with Doug Kallberg, right here on the Filter Free America episode. Let's go.
All right. So take me to the beginning of when you became art obsessed, comic obsessed. When did this happen?
I know for the moments that really came home for me was after about 1989 when the first Batman movie came out. And it was at that point I started my own comic book collection. Previous to that, I had just gone through my dad's comics. He collected all the old ones back in the day, and that was our bonding time.
Right.
And he was an artist when he was younger, but he didn't pursue it.
Okay.
But
same kind of art? Was it comic book related?
Oh yeah, no, he was more of a if you look it up, Boris Vallejo, that sort of fantasy art.
Okay.
Very realistic, sort of, but pop art at the same time.
Would a good example of that be? Because I know nothing in general. I know nothing, but as far as comic books, I know even less. When you say realistic, or give that example of that person's name that I already forgot, is that like Oh, remember the covers of the old like books of like Dungeons and Dragons? I used to play that.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. That sort of style was what my dad was really kind of drawn to.
Okay, that's why the first thing I ever think of is
Yeah.
like it's like fantasy, but it's realistic looking.
Exactly,
You know,
like,
it's
like Frank Frazetta. Like if you had like the old Conan,
yeah,
books,
exactly.
that kind of artwork.
Okay,
is what my
gotcha.
dad did. Of course, that's when you're trying to connect to somebody, that's you sort of imitate what they do, and that's just sort of what I did. And in class, that's all I ever did was doodle,
Okay.
because I
Me, it was dicks, just constantly drawing dicks.
well, I did go through that phase, but then I learned to draw boobs, which were much more profitable, because I actually had every now and again I would have a
Oh
kid.
my god, that's right, because you can draw very realistically. so-
Exactly, and I would have a kid pay me money every now and again to draw some boobs.
Holy shit! And he was masturbating to your art, right? You know
I
this.
guarantee that was happening, but you know what? I got my dollar. It was fine.
Holy shit, man! You childhood smut dealer that you created.
Yep.
Oh, there should be like some kind of special reward for that. That should be.
Well, I'll get my reward someday. I learned how to draw better females through it. Lots of practice.
What if you like ruined a kid and just like created a fetish where he can only come to art?
I think that'd be fantastic. I would love to hear about that.
It would have to help your comic books though. That's the guy that ruined that kid's life. He only jerks off the pictures now.
Exactly, and I would sell those pictures to him now. That would be a built-in market. That would be fantastic.
You just discovered a vein of like the crack dealing of art. That's what. Oh man. Okay. Did your teachers ever catch you like
No,
with your supply? Like
that stuff.
Doug's got all these titties in his desk again.
That one I was pretty sly about. I was being pretty sneaky when it comes to getting away with stuff. Like my parents still have no idea like a lot of the stuff I've gotten away with.
Wow.
So, but they won't be listening to this anyway because it's got swearing in it at some point. So
Yeah.
there we go. See,
I'm sure it already has.
it's fantastic.
So when you said your dad that was like your connecting point, did he literally like teach you like this is how you draw, a
Nope.
body, a torso?
Nope, I just imitated what he did on paper. And like most artists that I know, you just sort of kind of teach yourself to start with. And then as you get older, you get opportunities to take classes or whatever and then learn through that way. I've always learned more through like instruction books that just give you examples and, just learn to piece it together from that. But it's just practice, lots and lots of practice.
Do you remember that? It used to be on television a lot. Like it was a class, and it was actually from here. This is back when I lived in Missouri. I'd see it on television. Like, do you want to learn to draw? And then here's a class, and they had like the commercial was always the same. It was like some dude drawing a turtle's head.
You know what?
They're local, right?
Yeah, I had an opportunity to take that.
Okay.
They actually had a salesman like come out and try to sell us on it, but at the time, $100 to join in was too much for my mom, so she's like, just tore up the check, like, which is fine because I got like the beginner's packet for free then.
Right. So you get all that. That's so funny. That's because that's the son, I guess, of whoever the guy was that created that.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't he like related to Charles Schultz? I believe.
Was he? I don't know about
I know.
that.
Well, I know Charles Schultz went through that
class. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the connection. I think.
Okay.
That.
Well, also his connection to me was like I went to a Scott Hansen comedy class when I first started stand up, and the son or grandson was in the class there doing it. He hated art. I can't remember what his name was though. I don't know. I'm just joking about that. He may have loved it, but he was doing stand up, so can't really do a lot of drawing there.
No.
But so I just assume he hates it. But Batman was the first thing. So after the Batman movie, you dove into comic books.
I became obsessed. I was obsessed with Batman and drawing comics, and I would draw my own in class.
Okay.
I spent majority of my time just kind of spacing out. Somehow I still got like A's and B's. I don't know if I just learned to absorb stuff through osmosis or what, or to fake it,
right.
Which is a lot of public education, just learn to fake it.
Yeah, you just got to fake it the right way.
But so I did that, and that got me all the way through high school. And in high school, I sold a couple pieces to like for commercial purposes, and that kind of gave me a taste of real money.
Like advertisement piece.
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah, like actual to be used on a product or bumper sticker or whatever.
You know what I sold in high school? Fucking weed. That's what I sold.
Yeah, I hear it's more profitable than what I'm doing.
It takes a lot less talent.
Yes, it does.
I think I draw better when I'm high. And I don't know how that works. I trace less good when I'm high. So you had to go and you're selling art. Now it's you want this to be your career. Where did you go from junior high school to pursue this? How does one become as good as you, besides practice.
Yeah, besides practice. My folks kind of thought maybe I should go to college, so we toured one school at Bemidji State, and I was like, well, it's an hour from home. I don't really care. Fine. And
there's no scholarships for art, is there?
There is, but like my art teacher actually wanted me to go to the art high school down here.
Okay.
But at 16, I wasn't ready to move out to the Twin Cities on my own. That was just too much of a leap, you know. Okay. But they, Bemidji State had a good enough art program. One of my first experiences there, and this completely, said a lot of things for me. But I signed up for a figure drawing class. Well, they don't describe in there the fact that you're drawing a nude person live in front of you. And I'm 18, fresh off.
You weren't ahead of
the farm.
That's the only reason I've ever considered art. It was like every hacky movie where somebody's drawing, there's always somebody nude. I'm like,
never pieced it together.
Right?
Never. So you get to class and they give you this whole spiel about how we're all adults now, and I'm like, what is
where
this?
is she going with this?
And this chick comes out. Oh my God, is she gorgeous? I'm like, what? Why is she wearing oh boy, oh no. And then so luckily I had my drawing board over my pants because she was amazing.
Okay, most important question: shaved or not shaved?
No, she was well trimmed. Trimmed, yes.
It's like a military vagina. Like
yeah, it wasn't like full fledged like out there bush, but but blonde all over. So
natural blonde.
Yeah.
Holy cow! So, but you're already drawing titties at that point. So
no,
you're like, this is nothing to me. I'll just slap a pussy on there. We're good.
But it's a big difference from like seeing it on a piece of paper than to live in person.
That kid you were selling to, he should have just took the art class. He could just, what are you drawing with? Oh, my dick. That's what I'm doing.
I guarantee there was people taking that drawing class that had no business being there because they were not serious about the art.
People use oils. He uses semen. It just, whatever your medium is.
Yeah. Well, it's a thickening of your watercolors, right?
This is already my favorite episode ever. We're going to start a whole new trend of art classes. I want to be the titty drawer and semen. Do that. So you got good.
Yeah.
You've been validated to that degree. Next step was creating Free Range Studios, which is your independent label.
That's my self-publishing company. I'm from the Iron Range area, and the chicken I use in my logo was in my first comic book that I published at 19.
Okay.
And so I recycled that, so it became like a Free Range chicken. So Free Range Studios just sort of developed out of that, and then. I think I filed it with the government. I don't really know. I pay my taxes. That's all that matters.
Right.
That's all they care about. So as long as I keep coughing up every year, they call me a business.
They haven't got around to kicking in doors on comic book studios yet. They're still worried about weed and stuff. So.
I don't make anywhere near enough for them to give a shit about. So.
Right. So how does that? Well, I guess we'll talk about that. Like, how many comic books are you currently marketing and putting out? What is your line right now? What's the
so Pandora's Box is the name of my strip that I've done online for the last 15 years or so.
Okay.
I'm currently on a hiatus just because I'm making money. I'm trying to raise my family, that kind of stuff. But so like at freerangestudios.com, if you go there, you'll see Pandora's Box. But I also since I make the website sort of under the publishing name, I have lots of different little strips that pop up every again. So like there's Homicide Hairs, and that just becomes like a bad pun joke on death every time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
That's already my favorite. I haven't read that one yet.
I do dark stuff.
Okay.
I many times when I've gone to conventions, you look at my books and they're very kind of cute looking. I've had to warn parents several times, just maybe you should look over it first.
Right.
Because like if you go to page 3 or 4 on the first issue, which I'm out of, so I didn't bring that. Sorry.
Right.
But on that page, I have an ad for a David Carradine Christmas ornament where he's hanging from a belt.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
So if you can get past that,
right,
you're good. But a kid's not going to get that.
Oh, don't worry, my kid, they kill themselves all the time. That's good. Erotic asphyxiation. How do you say it? Erotic asphyxiation.
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Jerking off with a belt. That's how I say it. So now tell me about that then. So what is the difference? Like I know in general terms, but you give me the more specifics. There's a DC and Marvel are the big monsters of comic books, right?
Yeah, those are the ones that most people think of when you think of comic books is Marvel and DC.
Okay.
for those that enjoy comics, then you move down to the Image Comics, which is like Spawn and all those ones, or Dark Horse, which buys all the movie properties. Back in the day, they're the ones that did like the Terminator books,
Okay.
Indiana Jones, that kind of stuff. Now they do kind of their own thing. And then after that, you break it down into various other like independent tiers, which is where I fall somewhere in that much bottom area because most people don't know who I am.
Well, now like 5 or 6 more
know.
people are going to know.
I'm going to get like 6 more jumps on my website.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
So what is that? Can you make money on this independent market? Or is this something that you're building to? I'm sure you're not living off it completely now.
No. I've used it in various ways, like just keeping my skills up, promoting myself, having something for people to go to and look at. But it also gave me the ability to take those comics, print them up, and go to shows, which is where I've actually made a hell of a lot more connections in person. When I fell into the internet, I thought that's the place to go, and you can interact with human beings and make connections. Well, it just turns out the old-fashioned way of meeting people in person has worked so much better for me.
Right.
That's where I've met all the comedians that I've done work for, and they've passed me on to. I've done stuff for musicians. Currently, I'm doing.
Let's mention that for a second. Let's tease that. Now, the reason I contacted you originally was because I wanted you to do art for my CD that I just got done recording.
Yes.
So, have you done any other CD art at all?
A few pieces, yeah.
Okay.
Here and there.
Anybody I would know, or is it?
There's a local band, Orchid, had me do some work for them. I was gonna do a piece for. You know what? I'm going to say I forgot because I don't remember the name, and I don't want to come off as an asshole.
No worries.
I already have, but anyway. But yeah, I've done work for various comedians. I know...
art is one of those things that when you really look at it, there's so many ways that you could make money doing your art, especially when any kind of entertainment. Everybody needs a poster.
Yeah.
Everybody needs some kind of art for their products, T-shirts.
Yeah, stand-up records. I've done some things for Corey Adams. Recently, I got to do it at his release party or whatever and sign some stuff and pretend to be famous for 5 minutes.
Nice.
So that was cool.
5 minutes is all it takes, man. That's all you need.
But meeting people in person, that's really helped. Like I got to meet a dude named Mark Kistler. So like when we were talking about TV shows, he had like at least 3 different TV shows on public access back in the day.
Really?
So if you look him up, he teaches basically kids how to draw in 3 dimensions. Well, now I do like collaborative work with him.
Oh, very cool.
So like, we'll do some pieces together. So he has prints and stuff like that. But I got to go to Paris with him.
No shit.
Yeah, Paris Comic-Con.
Holy cow!
That was fantastic. French people, they were cool. Don't spend a lot of money.
Okay.
So it wasn't exactly a profitable trip, but it was definitely a growth experience.
They don't buy comics over there, or
they're into a whole different kind of comic. Like Donald Duck over there is huge. I know, right? Like they were just like losing.
Of everything in American culture that they can like latch onto, it's Donald Duck.
Donald Duck, Snoopy. Just that kind of stuff. Like I had a Snoopy piece that I had done. Some dude freaked out over it.
This explains all their history of surrender. These very weak characters that they're supporting.
So
where's the most innocent comic books? Where are those at?
But they do have a comic book culture though. Like they've still got comic books on the magazine racks over there. Like whereas here, good luck finding that kind of stuff.
It's just comic book stores. That's it, right? Comic book stores and online.
Direct market now. Yeah.
So. How does the collector culture affect you? Are there, like I'm using, how about Banksy as an example of some kind of weird art that people really have latched onto? Are there people that are buyers and collectors who are buying for potential future value, or are they seeking out obscure artists like yourself that maybe aren't mainstream, but they're like, hey, I like this.
That is one of those irritating things where I have a lot of people like, say if I run out of issue 1 of something, they won't buy any of it because, I don't have number 1. Well, what's the difference?
You gotta go find it. You gotta go buy it from somebody else.
Fucking buy it. It doesn't mean anything. Just buy the goddamn work and then find it later on, or contact me. I'll print up a copy and give it to you. I don't care. But yeah, it gets on my nerves. Like to have people like right in front of you, like directly eye to eye, they'll tell you like, but it's not number 1. Like, who am I? I'm not anybody famous. When I'm dead, I guarantee this stuff isn't gonna be worth.
So they're clearly not buying for just the enjoyment factor at all.
Yeah,
it's just
there's definitely a collector mentality to it, and it's really irritating. it's like those people who buy, toys for the collectability. Well, no, toys are meant to be played with,
Right.
or at least take them out of the box and put them somewhere for decoration or something. But just to have them like in the box, just sitting there, it's not going to be worth anything. I promise you.
Well, you say that now. I don't know. After this episode, you're going to be racking in the money. Telling you.
Fantastic. I'll take it.
So you got basically you can go to the comic book shows. You can do that. What about online? Are people? Do you have a fan base now of people who are going to the online stuff, enjoying what you are offering online, and then they turn around and buy because they just totally appreciate what you got?
Well, I did. I haven't checked on my numbers recently since I stopped doing it, but I did have a steady following.
Okay.
At least a few hundred people.
Okay.
But to come across somebody in person,
You laugh, but a few hundred people spending money was, that can
Yeah.
add up. Especially if you're. Is this? You said you're kind of taking a little bit of a leave of absence from it, but are you pretty semi-regular with it enough where people can?
Yeah, I was definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
It was 3 times a week.
Holy cow! Wow.
Yeah. So I tried to do that for 15 years, and then, and that's what I would tell people. Like I've done.
I mean, that's a lot of work, right? I mean, I'm not overestimating. It's to
No, I
draw
mean,
and produce
it's-
and color and.
A minimum of like 3 hours a strip, if not 5. So you times that by 3 times a week, and then you try to have a social life around that.
That's at least a busy part-time job.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Holy cow! Comic culture, we got that. Independent market, we got that. Well, I think I kind of asked you. You gave me a little bit of a base. Is there an ongoing storyline with Pandora's Box? Or is it just everything is different each time?
The main theme to it is this teenage girl sort of lets out these evil toys from her grandmother's attic.
Okay.
So hence kind of ties into the whole Pandora's
toy
box.
box. Okay.
And they're evil toys.
Gotcha.
And I've always, for whatever reason, had this thing where I draw toys doing awful things. I would sit and do doodles of like, say, stuffed rabbits like guillotine each other in class.
Holy shit.
Yeah, just messed up shit.
I'd have you
And
paint
I
that
thought
on
it was
my
hilarious. And and then as you go along and you learn how to develop your writing skills, like each one of them kind of develops their own personality. But
Okay.
the basic idea is that she just keeps trying to corral these awful toys.
This is kind of the adventure surrounding that.
Yeah, lately I got into like they have selected their neighborhood, like only they are allowed to bully in their neighborhood. So if somebody else tries to come in to bully in their territory,
Right.
they bully the bully to get them out.
Okay. Very cool. I was just gonna ask. What was I gonna ask? Oh, where does that storyline come from? Was there an inspiration point for that particular idea, or is it just because you were just drawing these toy-like figures and like, let's just assemble these into a story?
I've had my fair share of bullying. I've been picked on the majority of my life. Up until you get to college when you realize that people can be adults and not treat you like shit just because you look different.
Right. So kind of like what we were talking about before we recorded is it's a lot like comics in the sense that our comedy is our coping tool and what we use to kind of process either past or current experiences.
Yeah, no, that's where you take a lot of the dark stuff in your life, and I've learned how to twist it into a demented sense of humor. That's usually how I have to advertise it to people. Like if you've got a very hearty sense of humor, you can enjoy my website or the comic strip or whatever I've done in there because.
To me, that would be where I would gravitate to. I want the dark. Like I like even when it's I didn't read it regular, but like the older Batman, the very dark
Yeah, exactly.
stuff I liked.
Yeah, I'm not doing no Marmaduke. This isn't
Right.
This isn't kid stuff.
Well, if it's Marmaduke, he's gonna get his head cut off with an axe or something, right?
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
more like Marmadead. Okay. So now you kind of hinted on where we wanted to go. From there we've got kind of the background of your art and what you're doing. But another thing that you've dealt with besides, working, raising a family, all that is dealing with depression as well too.
Yep. Yeah, no, in the last couple of years, I finally had to deal with it. And, my wife wouldn't stop nagging me to go, get some help. At the time, I was working a job that I absolutely hated. It got to the point where I would sit in the bathroom and I couldn't move. I would have to force myself to actually go out and work because it was just a toxic environment for me.
When you were hanging out in the bathroom, though, were you one of the guys that was drawing on the bathroom wall with like superior art skills, but drawing dicks on the wall?
I've done that. I've actually corrected people's work. Well, if you're gonna
that dick is clearly not the scale. Well, at least not for you.
Exactly, it's not correct. You're
Let's
not
scale
having
this down.
veins or hair. And if you're gonna do it, you got to draw the head right. And there's a way to draw a dick, and there's a way not to draw a dick.
That's true.
But so during that time frame, I finally had my kid, and I was like, I don't want to have my kid experience this. I want to be able to interact with her like a normal adult parent, father. So I went to my doctor and I asked, can we try some different kind of medication?
Well, let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
What you said your wife was kind of hounding you to get into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was, and I'm sure that was with the best intentions.
Well, yeah,
it wasn't like, get your depressed ass out of the house. It was like she cared about you.
Nothing but concern for me.
Right. So what was kind of like, I'm sure there was some, dark or more substantial moments. What was like the turning point with her? Like, hey, we can't do this anymore. This is too much.
Right.
Let's
well,
fix this.
with her, it was, even bringing up the idea of suicide. I didn't have a plan for it. It's just one of those things you bring up, even if you're just joking about killing yourself.
Right.
Sometimes, she's one of those people that will take that very seriously. I've done cartoons about that, and she got very upset about it. Like, this is just my way of dealing with it. And
I do that. I drive my girlfriend crazy like that. It's like, well, don't worry. When I kill myself, this won't be a problem anymore. And 99% of the time, I think I'm always joking when I say that to her. But I know there's a difference. But
yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I promise not to leave a mess.
Right. That's me too.
Yeah,
right. I'm gonna be I'm gonna go in the shower, close the curtain. Something, whatever. No mess right there. Or just jump off a building onto a cop car. Specifically,
I have thought though that I have to be wearing something because I don't want them to find me naked because that would just be embarrassing, right? You've checked out, you've left your naked, flabby corpse there for other people to find.
I swear the only thing that ever stops me is my search history on my computer. I'm like, God, I was killing myself right now, but got to go clear that shit first. That's the only thing stopping me sometimes.
You got to use that incognito, man. That's the way to clear that.
That's the way to do it. Something attached to like a heart monitor that once you die, your computer just explodes. That would probably be the safest thing.
Yeah.
Default. So was that it specifically? You had mentioned something about contemplating a suicide.
That wasn't the first time. Like 10 years before, towards the end of my first marriage, after she, told me she was cheating on me, and I just, dealing with her psychotic, abusive ass. You get really, really dark moments, and I couldn't sleep in the same bed with her because I wasn't allowed.
Because the other dude was there, probably, right?
A couple times it was.
Company.
And then, anyway, that's fucking awful. But towards the end there, you get to a point where you're hiding out the sharp stuff in your office because you're just like, if I look at it, I'm gonna think about it.
Wow.
And because there are a couple times you just start kind of playing with it and feeling it against your skin, like how much pressure would it take to get into that skin? And it's not much.
Wow.
That's why you got to be. People gotta be careful.
I'm glad we're having this because I've done things like that I've never told anybody about.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. I've
always that's kind of like it might be too dark to even mention, but I've done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right,
well,
exactly what. God, I don't
as
feel
artist,
alone now.
Well, yeah. Well, as an artist, I keep like X-Acto knives and stuff like that around. So
right.
Yeah, it was a matter of just like, well, these having these really sharp blades laying around. Maybe I should put them away.
Honest as can be.
Yeah.
If you were to kill yourself with cutting your wrist and you have some blood loss on that, are you going to try to make an art piece with your blood as it oozes out, like right before? 'Cause that would be like your opus right there, right? That'd be.
Well, I think part of it is you have to make sure that what are you going to leave behind? Do you want to leave a mess? Do you leave all the white towels out so that it really sticks out?
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna stage something nice if I ever. I'm joking now. I'm joking.
Yes,
I'm way past it myself. So everybody that's like, oh, is he gonna kill himself on an episode? Maybe depends on where the ratings are at.
Well, then who would publish it though? You would have to have a pact with somebody.
I'll have something set up.
You'd have to do it live or have somebody ready to go.
Live stream. That's what it is. That's the future of suicide.
Oh God, I'm sure somebody's already.
Oh, it's been done.
It's been done
already, but just won't be as funny as mine would have been. It's gonna be hilarious. So what you're doing, like, is that flirting with suicide? Is that a good way to put it? Like,
yeah,
flirting with the idea.
It's contemplating it, but it's not coming up with a direct plan. You're just the thoughts come by, and
what would have been your preferred method? What would have been? If you were like the,
if I had to do it, I don't know.
if you had somebody held a gun to your head, made you choose.
Falling from a great height, can be a way to do it.
That seemed. I was like, which one's going to be the least painful and like the least fuck up chance? Like I don't want to be retarded, like more so than I already am. Like I don't want to have like half a brain because I shot the gun wrong or something like that.
That's the thing. I've worked with vulnerable adults who fucked that up, and that's why they're vulnerable
Oh,
adults.
God.
So when you realize that, like, if you're gonna do it, you better do it right. I mean, I've worked with people that gunshots. I mean,
Right.
that can.
I've seen pictures of people
you can
like
fuck
their
that up.
face is gone,
Yeah.
but they're still alive.
They're
I'm
still
like,
alive.
holy fuck.
Well, at that point, you should probably maybe do a mercy and just put
Something.
the person out, because I mean that's not a life at
No.
that point. But that's me. Like if I was that serious about it, please just finish it.
Right. Just
Don't bring me back.
don't call 911. Just step on my face spot a few
Exactly.
times. So, what was the closest that you ever got? What was there a
During that time period,
Okay.
I was living in a house with her, my mother-in-law, who was also a gargoyle, just an awful human being, and so that kind of constant abuse was it was awful, and so it gets to a point where like you don't know what to do, you can't think straight, you're not sleeping right, she had ostracized me from all of my friends.
Jesus.
It got to a point where like I didn't have anybody to turn to, and the breaking point is that she had wanted my cousin to come live with us to help pay the bills, because God forbid she get a job, right?
Right.
That obviously, and he's like, well, I'm not going to do it unless she has a job. So the last night was we went to ask her if she's going to get a job, flipped the fuck out. Right, started hitting herself in the face, and told me if I didn't leave, she was going to tell the cops that I did that.
Holy shit.
And since her mom was sitting right there, she would have just backed her up on the whole thing. So I got in my cousin's car and I fucking left, and that was it.
God.
So
nothing ever happened. She didn't try to pursue anything after
no,
that?
she didn't pursue that. Like the next day, she had all my shit packed. I came back for it, and after that was just.
So she could get a
proceedings.
job as a packer. She could just like pack people's shit for a
She
living.
could have been a paperweight. She was fantastic at it.
Hope she hears this episode. So, yeah, that to me was like sometimes suicide would just be an escape at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, no,
It's
it
not
would have
even
been
the
an easier
depression
out.
at that time. It's like, okay, fuck you, I'm
know,
out of here.
I mean, and then afterwards though too, I was able to get some good fuck yous to her. Like I didn't. She went in and did.
Does she have a character in one of your comic books? Is she inspired by it?
I don't think I draw anything that vile. It was awful.
Definitely not for children.
But no, I mean, she went into bankruptcy and all that, but I wouldn't join in on it.
Oh, okay.
So I just got a second job and I worked my nuts off for like a year and a half. But that was my, my pride moment of like, fuck you. I'm not going to go down that. And I made it,
And this is still all happening before you're getting any formal treatment for the depression?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Well, part of it was working myself to death. So I didn't have to think.
Okay.
When you work, 12 to 14 hours a day, you're not giving yourself a time to process anything.
Right. Too tired to be depressed.
Right. And then when on your days off, I spent most of my time just drinking.
Okay.
So, and not to a point where I was like an alcoholic, but enough so that I didn't
Enough to kill the pain.
exactly. Be done with it, have some fun. And I didn't have to deal with it.
Wow.
So you spread that out after a while, and then you give yourself time to process after. I don't think I really dealt with it until a good 5 years afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
So, new wife comes in the picture.
Yeah.
How long between relationships was that?
Oh God, let's see what I've been married. See, we got married on 9/10/11, so I'd remember when. So we've been married 7 years.
7 years.
Yes, and then so 3 or 4 years. So yeah, I didn't start dealing with it until after I'd met her,
Okay.
and I was like, maybe I'll give this another whirl again.
Talking about relationships,
Yeah.
or okay.
Yeah, because it just had all the right signs. Like my family liked her. That's something that really has to happen. Like people don't seem to see.
Did you meet her through comic book somehow, or?
No, I met her through my cousin.
Okay.
We went down to Nebraska. Me and my cousin, me and my roommate / cousin, because I'd lived with him for a few years after that.
Ironically, in Nebraska, I always want to kill myself driving through that place.
But the reason we went down there is family, and the beer is extremely cheap.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we were drinking like
they got to give you something.
pints for $1. So I mean,
holy shit,
exactly. And they're like, we were tipping like $5, and they were losing their minds over because they just used to people like giving them quarters
or ears of corn.
Yeah.
You know, here's your tip. Have some maize.
Here's a coupon
for more corn. So, did you, before going into the relationship with the new lady that you're with now, and she's the love of your life, did you let her know, hey, I have thoughts of suicide before we put this ring on? Am I
that didn't really come up until like after we got kind of married, because like I didn't express to her until much later the real depth of how that previous relationship kind of wrecked me.
Okay.
And
just to clarify, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, because I did the same thing. Like the girl I'm up with now, love her to death, she's awesome. I didn't let her know that, hey, I'm like stupid in the head sometimes and I act like an asshole.
Well, yeah, no, I was very
surprise.
forthcoming with like, what I want to do with my life in terms of like the career, but that's something that I waited till she was hooked until I dropped all that scary shit on her. Cause
that's the best way to do it. Oh,
yeah,
by
you're
the
not
way,
going anywhere. Yeah.
by the way, Dad, you love me and everything.
Yeah.
Here's the bad shit. I think we all do that, either consciously or subconsciously.
Yeah.
We do that. So what was the first moment that she saw it or had to deal with it? Did it affected her life too? Was it just like a small things? It
was kind of like after our kid was born. And when you're, I don't know if you've had to deal with infants, but when they're first born, like you get no sleep.
Okay.
And it gets to the point where I didn't know what time of day it was. Even I could look outside and see light, but I'm like, I have no fucking clue what time it is. Because you're waking up every 3 hours to
everything you're doing is just backing up my position on having kids. like my girlfriend has a kid, and I love him to death. He's great, but I've known him since he was 11, right?
Right.
Which is the perfect age. Like kids should come out at like
Right.
10 or 11,
Right.
And then they can talk and mow the lawn for you and shit like that.
He's far more independent. Yeah. It's hard bringing him up fresh.
Because I'm terrified of what you're describing right now, depression or not. That just
Well,
because
yeah.
I know how irresponsible I am with my own life, and I'm like, I'm not. God, I don't have that in me to do that.
Yeah, no, it was a big change, and it required some big changes in terms of the way I was living my life and thoughts.
Right. But you were saying before I cut you off, those stressors were what kind of triggered some.
Yeah, like part of what adds to it is not getting sleep.
Okay.
Like I know when I haven't got enough sleep, because then you get this fog over everything you're thinking about. Like fucking everything sucks. I can't deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. You'd start acting kind of like a spoiled brat.
Do you deal with sleep apnea too?
I don't think I do.
Oh man, you should get that tested if you do.
I know my wife does, but she's never caught me like snoring and then like not breathing.
Okay, well maybe you're one of the lucky ones then.
Yeah.
Me, I have sleep apnea. Plus, when I was at my heaviest weight, it was like super bad, and I was just like you. I would get like when they did the test on me, I was waking up something like 60, 70 times a night.
Oh my God.
And it's like, it was like off the chart, super high. And by waking up, you don't get conscious, but your body constantly jumps in and out of the REM sleep and all that shit. And
you're getting no rest.
Dude, and when I started doing the sleep apnea machine and doing that for 30 days, it changed my life. So,
yeah, no, part of what was killing it was to be in was like what these thought loops is what I call them. And that comes from like super moments of anxiety.
Okay.
It's like when you're going to bed and you're stressed out and you're thinking about, because at the time of the job I was working, I had been placed in sort of like a higher up position, and that much responsibility is just not something I was prepared for. And so just you're constantly thinking about all the things you fucked up on during that day, and then like, oh my God, I forgot this, and you wake up in the middle of the night like I should have done this, and there's tons of paperwork either did or didn't get done, and then you can't shut that off.
Right.
You just lay there awake, like constantly
just that loop of thought and going through
all this shit in your head, and you don't get any sleep because of it.
Holy shit.
I mean, now the less sleep I get is from like my hip. I have arthritis, and so but they have pain meds for that, and my wife talked me into taking that, so it's not too bad on that department. I'm waiting for them to do when the weed becomes finally legal, I can walk into a store and just.
When we can act like adults, like other people in other states, that'd be great, right? So, I guess before the treatment, as you're still suffering with it, you with the new wife, you got that going on, you got the kid going on.
Yep.
How is this affecting art in this time?
It was killing it.
You didn't get no additional creative veins or anything from it. It was more just didn't want to do it.
Like I was super productive in right after my first marriage ended, and I was focused because like now I was free, so I could. And again, working yourself to death. You know, I worked the 2 jobs, and then I did that on top of it, so I didn't give myself any time to rest. But I also forced myself to be really creative and get a lot of my comics done. But as that stress wears on and you don't give yourself any room to breathe, eventually you just like things stop throwing against the wall, and you can't find any more things to do. Like it runs out, and you're doing like just cheap gags after a while.
Okay.
And
so quality.
Yeah, the quality went down.
Drive.
At least in terms of like the writing.
Okay.
I know my artwork can continue to get better, but that's because I switched over from traditional to digital, and the computer really does take over a lot of stuff that you never.
How does that work? Are you still drawing I guess they're called panels. Are you hand drawing every single panel now?
Not anymore. No, I still.
Tell me about that real fast.
I work either on a surface where I draw literally on the face of a screen of my laptop, or I work on.
How did that see, to me that seems very foreign. Like if I use like a stylus, that seems so awkward to me. How long did it take you to convert?
A couple of years of practice.
Okay.
It was kind of a disconnect because you're not looking at your hand anymore when you're drawing. Because like I work primarily, either I'm drawing on the screen, but mostly I work on a Wacom, which is that tablet that just sits down here by like your stomach or your keyboard, and you're looking at the screen. So you're basically drawing with the mouse.
So that seems even more challenging for me.
It is until you get used to it, and now it's just kind of like second nature.
Okay. So what I would equate that to is like I'm in the cars, and like in the older model cars, it was like a mechanical power steering pump. So you had more road feedback.
Yep.
But like the car I have now has all electronic steering and all that stuff, so it feels good, but it feels different. It feels artificial. Like something's just not natural about it.
Yep.
So there's probably that for a little bit
difference,
for you.
Yeah. Like part of why I do that is because like on the Wacom tablet, the response time is faster for me than the screen that I have because I didn't have the money to buy like a $3,000 piece of equipment.
Thanks.
So when you draw on the Surface that I've got, it's basically a laptop with a touch screen. There's a little bit of a lag from the time you put your stylus or your mouse down to where the line starts. So that got really annoying for me. So I went back to doing the tablet, the Wacom tablet. And
are you better at Etch-a-Sketch now because of that? It seems like that doesn't that seem like kind of a similar thing?
I hate Etch-a-Sketch. I always hated Etch-a-Sketch just because there was no freedom to it. Like you're stuck going left or right, up or down. And I'm always amazed by the people that made.
Seems like we haven't had any advancements in Etch-a-Sketch technology yet. I think there should be something.
They still use the same way of doing it.
Crazy. What I might have asked this already, but I'm going to ask it again. Just, when you're going through these stress, and again, this is before you start getting treatment.
Yep.
Did you notice any of the themes of the stuff? Were you using that, channeling any of that negativity, or I guess not negativity is a word, but that depression, those issues you were dealing with, were they coming out? And is it called the script of the comic? I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, sure. In the themes, I definitely deal with some dark shit in the comics because I have my characters. They go out and bully people and do their absolute best to destroy whatever's around them and just be dicks.
How do you translate that to what you were experiencing? Were you trying to, was this stress and pain you were dealing with, and you're like, okay, let me use that, and I'm going to inflict that pain or whatever I'm dealing with onto these characters as kind of payback, or was it?
I don't think at the time it was
reflection.
Conscious.
Okay,
I don't think it was a conscious effort at the time. I've always kind of had a dark sense of humor, and looking back, there's obviously a few things in there that I'm sure. I've had a couple different jokes, I'm sure, in there where I've either killed myself or had somebody kill themselves, and then make a joke out of it, ha ha ha,
right.
And then, but now I can't it's hard to get away with those kind of jokes now in our climate, in our social climate, because people don't want to joke about that kind of stuff, and they don't seem to realize that this is how some people deal with their pain or frustration.
So do you feel like you're editing, some of your ideas now to respond to that?
I have, yeah.
That's a conflict I'm dealing with as far as comedy writing.
It really sucks. I mean, I can't make the same kind of jokes I feel like I could have 10 years ago.
Guys, I hate that.
Yeah, no, I had one of my favorite jokes. I had basically like a steak sauce commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I did. The guy asked for the steak sauce, and the wife says, "Well, no, we're out of it." So he shoots her, and he says, "Yeah, it's that important, right?" It's not about killing all women. It's just that was the target of the thing at the time.
Now you wouldn't do that now.
I couldn't get away with it now. There'd be too many. The last time I showed that to someone, the lady's like, "Really, Doug?" Like,
okay, number one, I would like to buy a print of that.
Okay,
so if you've got one, I'll take one of those, and I'll hang it on the wall next to my. See, this is my favorite art piece right there. That's Chamberlain was the guy's last name, artist out of Denver. And for people who are listening and don't know what I'm talking about, it's Darth Vader holding Jesus on ground zero of 9/11.
Oh my God!
And it's the most offensive art piece I've ever seen, but also the most beautiful to me because it hits me on so many levels.
Yeah, no, it's a very nice piece.
All right.
Yeah.
That what you described doesn't seem too much to me. It's like, because I get the irony and I get context and I get like, I don't want to see, you got to do what you want to do. I hate to see anybody, and I know I do it too. Mm-hmm. Like with joke writing, I've intentionally, I don't have to say that. Let's do this joke. But I hate that we're in that.
Yeah,
and it's so stifling, and it's so counter to what art is.
I used to have the mentality of like, fuck, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and I'm just gonna put it out there, and I would start getting feedback that like I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings by doing this stuff, and everybody's just taking it way too personally.
Right.
I think people are losing their ability to see things in context.
Yeah. That's my ongoing joke. If my dream is to own my own comedy club, and I'm going to call it Context, and it's going to be it's going to be on the name is on there, and I'm going to have a list of rules of what you can and can't do when you don't like a joke.
Exactly. If you're not smart enough to understand where this joke is coming from, you should probably leave.
Yeah, go to a movie theater or something. God, see, I hate that because I feel like it's taking, I as well as I know you, I know you're not a mean person who's out, trying to trash women or do anything like that. But I understand art and stuff, and that's I can laugh at all kinds of shit. I think there's a lot of things out there that are absolutely hilarious. Like if you look for it, you can find it, right? So just if I found amputee porn, guess what they use the stumps for? Huh? Yeah, that shit's sticking in
fucked
holes,
up.
Yeah,
and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But
it's a search that I've done myself, so it's
yeah. And so anything that you can think of that's out there, I will find it, and it's hilarious to me because human beings are messed up,
right?
And that's what I kind of revel in, is the messed up part of humans.
What is it? The psychologist or whatever. What's his name? This is me resulting from too much weed. We talked about the ego and the id, the two personalities of a person, and things like that. It's like we all have I think a same kind of darkness, like either drawn to it or it's a default thought of dark humor. And I think more people have it than I can't believe that anybody just goes through life and never has never makes a joke about somebody hanging themselves. Or I just can't having that thought.
Well, and then I think part of that is people want to project this image of like, oh, I'm above all that stuff. Everybody at some point in their life has laughed at somebody who tripped and fell. Right.
Sometimes when they've made them trip and fall.
Exactly. You've found something in your life where something was horrible, but for whatever reason you thought it was funny.
Right.
Like the majority of funerals I've been to, and this is for people like my grandparents. It's always been a moment where I got the giggles, and it's usually because, and this will get me every single time. Somebody will come in and start singing some high-pitched church song, and I start laughing my ass off because it's fucking horrible.
Right.
They never pick anybody that can sing well. It's just this wailing, high-pitched squawk.
Who knows the song? That's what it boils down to.
Oh, but every time I start giggling my ass off. Like when my grandmother died, I'm sitting there and the guy up there and the priest or whatever said, and she's in good hands. And in my head, I thought with Allstate, and I started laughing my ass off.
Jesus is just an insurance company.
Exactly.
That's all he is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. You should, yeah. Please don't hold back on your art, or at least maybe find a fake name to release under whatever.
I have thought about that, just so I can get some really dark shit.
And just
out
do
there.
the darkest of dark.
Yeah.
Just a whole volume on 9/11 would be interesting. So let's get back to the relationship part.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the depression goes, and how did she come to you when you're like, hey, we got to deal with it? Was it a mutual thing? You sounded like you kind of like, yeah, let's do it for my kid. Let's do it for this.
Right. That was a good selling point on her end of things. It's just, you're not well.
Right.
You should probably go in and check stuff out. And
how was that to feel that, to hear that, or to accept that? Because I think that's especially I would say for guys, there's a little bit of machismo and bravado and everything we do, regardless.
No, as a man,
do you feel pretty defeated, kind of?
Yeah, no, as a guy, that's definitely a hard thing to deal with because we're not, especially in our society, we're not allowed to cry.
Right.
We're not allowed to emote, anything other than laugh or, that stern ha-ha kind of thing. And the only things that we're allowed to cry for are like, say, your mom dying, or maybe your kid, or whatever kind of sport you follow. They have a big moment. Then you're allowed to let that out.
Tears of joy.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Or like with your dog, you're allowed to be as cute and friendly and talk baby to them all you want to.
I'm horrible about that. I'm like ridiculous. They're my kids. They're not dogs. Those are my children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but in our society that's okay.
Right.
And that's a lot of that's just remnants from like the 50s where everybody was like John Wayne and you had to be super tough and macho.
God, that's a great comparison too.
It is.
Because anything else, if you act like a wimp, sissy, whatever with your dog, with anything else, you're fine. But with your dog, he's a dog person. Of course, he can call him his baby and give him kissy face and all that stuff. It's perfectly normal.
Anything other than that, you're a total pussy and you're weak. Any kind of effeminate, thing you can put on a dude that will emasculate you, and then you're done.
Holy shit, that's a great comparison. So what was step one after you made that decision?
Well, step one, I went to my physical doctor, and this is a fun fact I enjoy about that. So we got insurance. I went to a clinic that was right next to where we lived. Turns out isn't any abortion clinic. I didn't know this till I got there, and
we could help you, but we could only help you about 40 years ago. That's what
exactly. They could have fixed me without even putting me through all this bullshit.
You wouldn't even have known anything. It would have been great.
And so I'm in there, and the doctor's like, nobody bothered you outside, right? Like, why would they? And then so she told me what it was. Like, oh shit, really? I thought, and so I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And so since I've been going there, every time I've been there since, yes, there's been somebody there trying to hand me a pamphlet.
So wait a minute, I could just go to an abortion clinic and get seen as a doctor?
Any place that offers medical attention, you can go to. They just happen to have that service. It's not like a specialty mart.
Okay.
Like where they're one stop, abortion clinic.
Right.
They provide everything else.
But this is one place that obviously is on the preferred list of abortions.
Well, there's only so many places you can get it done legally,
Well, and technically you are trying to, remove something painful from your body, which is the same thing as an abortion.
Sure. The hilarious part is it's right next to a little church, so they have a stand built up on their side of the fence so they can sit and shame you as you're walking into the clinic. That is
location.
Exactly, it's one of the most fucked up things I have ever seen in my life.
Well, it's actually like a fork in the road, really.
Yeah,
it's either we'll go here and then not have to get married, or I'll just I'm gonna keep this kid now. I got to get married. So you just take your choice.
And so I've taken it as kind of like a thing of pride to like go there and just support it because
did you ever offer to do some art for him? Maybe touch up some of those aborted pictures. Like just I can draw a really realistic abortion for you.
Offer to do a pamphlet for them, like
right?
Just Jesus Christ. No, I was just envisioning drawing like metal scraping tools.
And, man, see?
God damn, that's fucked up.
You got to do it. You got to come up with your fake name and release all this.
But so anyway,
the Abortion Chronicles.
So anyway, so I go to her. I mentioned the stuff and thinking about suicide. That those kind of thoughts are there, and she suggested one medication, and I lucked out, and it helped a lot right off the bat. Like unfortunately, a lot of people have to experiment constantly to get that right, whatever cocktail.
Okay, explain this again. I've took some psychotropic drugs before when I was getting like some formal treatment, and my situation kind of went differently. But can you explain like what are you treating with chemical with pills? What about depression needs that? What's happening? What do the pills do?
So the part of the depression that was helping was my anxiety. I've always had social anxiety to start with, for whatever reason, and even if they're my best friends.
Was this, well, if you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, was it Wellbutrin?
No, it's a knockoff of Lexapro.
Okay. Yeah. I took Wellbutrin. That was the one I done.
But yeah, so I've always had like this thing where like I've had to work myself up to go socialize, or like I struggle with being kind of like an introvert. And
Same.
you may not necessarily know that by talking to me, because I've got a face I put on when I talk to people.
Exactly.
But like, say for example, like I go to a convention, it takes me like several hours after the convention to like
To chill out.
decompress, because I've had to like put that face on so long.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It feels like a physical tension, like and you just kind of
It's
let
draining.
it go. It is, yeah.
It's absolutely draining.
God,
Like,
see, that's the same. I just explained it to. I had Tom Simmons, comedian, on for the last episode, and I talked about how I just don't like people. You know, like I love telling jokes and to an audience full of people, but it's different because I'm in control. That's my thing.
Exactly.
You don't have any power. I have the power.
Exactly.
Right. And I like this one-on-one type things, but to go out and be social, like what you're talking about, to me, like sometimes I told him that it felt like I think I'm just lazy, like I don't want to go, because there's so much for me, and I'm assuming for you, it takes so much physical toll on me.
Yeah, you know,
to
it
do
takes it
this
out
and
of
do
me.
that. Yeah.
It's one thing like if I've like created a party, invited people I know, because I'm controlling that situation.
Yeah,
So
again,
it's
yeah.
easy to play a host to that.
Right.
But to get like say invited to someone's house for the first time, fucking terrifying to me. I have to figure out ways of like talking to people, and then you know, I'm one of those people that like I kind of run out of things to talk about because I don't like sports. It's not my thing. So I don't like necessarily just small talk. You know, so and I really don't want to talk politics with people if I just met you.
All right.
That's
you never know what you're
not-
gonna get.
It's like walking
Talk about a
into
Pandora's box.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
exactly, right there. Boom. So yeah, so I've always had those kind of issues, and then I inherited like my dad's mom's like worrying.
Okay.
Like, she literally worried herself to death. Like she gave herself a heart attack worrying.
Jesus.
And so I had to deal with that. And so by taking this med, it shuts a lot of that just down. Like I don't have the thought loops anymore. I can go to sleep pretty easily because of that. If anything keeps me up, it's just the pain in my hip. But it's not my brain anymore.
Right.
You know, like it's like turning off a faucet. Like
Well,
it's
how did
constantly
that-
running water?
Did that have any negative effect on creativity?
For a while, yeah. I don't know if it was just like what do you call that? Pseudo
Oh, I know.
placebo.
Placebo
Like, it was
effect,
like a placebo effect. Where, you know, I was reading the side effects of it, and for whatever reason I kind of talked myself into like having all those side effects, when in reality, once I got used to it, that was just kind of all in my head. And so I started forcing myself just to do little drawing exercises, just random stuff, whatever random crap I could do. And actually, if people go on my Instagram, you'll see a lot of that stuff now, where I just draw random pictures, you know, just various things, whatever I'm interested in that day. And that kind of helped get me back into things. And
So now you don't feel like you lost anything. You just
no, I'm fine. It's just, you know, a lot of it's just a matter of time. You know, I'm a dad now,
Right.
and I'm actually for the last 6 months, I've actually had a lot of success in just finding jobs that pay. So I kind of had to do that. You know, I mean, you can't turn money down now.
right. No shot.
So
How long before you? I guess you'll never get cured because you're still getting treated. How long do you like? You felt like, oh, now I'm in this new plane now. How long did it take you from start of treatment to where you're comfortable and where you're feeling good and you felt like you made the right decision? Everything felt good.
Well, the meds started working first couple of weeks.
Okay.
and then eventually at some point in this timeline, my mother-in-law had gotten cancer, so my wife decided she needed therapy, and so I started seeing her therapist because, once your wife goes and does something, then she recommends that you should be doing it too.
Hell of a date night.
Therapy. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Well, couples therapy can help. So I just started seeing this person that was.
Do you ever have after therapy sex? Like, oh, I really worked out some shit. Let's go fuck now. Let's go do that. Everything feels good.
Sometimes, yes.
I always devolve to the simplest of man thoughts. So just sorry in advance.
No problem. But yeah, so then during that time frame is when we started, individual therapy, for whatever her issues, and then I've got my own, and that the first therapist I moved on to another one because insurance changes, so then you have to go find somebody else.
That sucks too.
It is. It's absolute bullshit.
Of all the treatments, that's one that the personal bond may be the most. Is it the most important?
It's a lot of trust. You bared your entire soul to this complete stranger.
That and the guy that enlarges my dick. Whoever does that procedure, I want to keep that guy. Like I don't need too many guys working on that.
Just keep adding on to it. As the years go on, let's just.
It's like a tree. Just add a ring every year, so I know how big it is.
Nice.
Oh, so any relapse issues? Any
there's
trigger things that are things you got to avoid? What's life like now, day to day?
Things are going pretty good. I had a change in my day job, and that's brought back some more stress. So it's stress and lack of sleep that really triggers it for the most part.
You keep talking about sleep, and I know that there was. Do you listen to Rogan's podcast at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you listen to the episode where he had? I can't remember the guy's name, but he was an expert in sleep study and stuff like that. It's crazy. If you listen, look that one up. It's a few months ago. It was from the summer, but it was life changing to me. Of just between that and my dealing with my sleep apnea, sleep is so important to everything, to every element of health. If you're not getting, and he said 7 to 9 hours is like required of straight sleep to really get your body to heal, to do its recharging. He talked about all the different resets in your mind, which is if you're having any kind of depression or any kind of mental anxiety, if you're not going through those, like your brain's computer that shut down and restart and getting it back up, then it just has to compound everything.
Yeah, very much so. No, it's. Yeah. But and two, like it was the idea, like I had talked about it at length with my wife, and then right now the strip's on hiatus, but at some point I will be stopping it. I'm going to be retiring from it because it's not feeling that need in my life anymore. You know what I mean? And I want to move on to other things. There's another comic book that I really want to do, and the character is based on my kid. And
and if you can tell, or if you want to tell. Is it going to be still dark humor, or is it going to be kid?
This
friendly?
is going to be family friendly.
Okay,
it's a whole different world.
Is that the effect of the kid, or is that the effect of clear mental health that's made you want to pursue this lighter stuff?
It could be both. It could be. I mean, it all happened around the same time. Maybe about a year after she was born, I got hired to do a kids book.
Okay.
From a dude, and I'm like, this is really easy. Like, because you don't have to do very complex drawings for a kid's book.
I always thought this. I don't want to ever insult a person who makes kids books, but
well, yeah, for someone like me that knows.
Tommy caught the ball. Well, that's a whole page of script right there.
Exactly. You're getting paid a significant amount of money to do 20 drawings.
I gotta think that's one of the markets in his books that's still strong.
Yeah,
probably is.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard for a little kid to enjoy them on a tablet. We've got tons and tons of cheap kids books all over the place.
How much would it cost me to commission you to do a kid's book on discovering that 9/11 was an inside job? That to me just seems like the perfect sales point.
Submit me a script and then we'll talk about it because that could be fun.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
I was half joking, but that makes perfect sense to me. At least you get all the 9/11 truthers would buy it for their kids. That would be great.
Exactly.
You can do a whole series. You could do like, the world is flat, that kind of thing.
The world is flat. Autism caused by vaccines. You could have like, here's little Jenny. Jenny doesn't believe in vaccines.
Holy shit, dude.
So yeah, you could have all kinds of
no matter what, if you took it seriously or you took it as a joke, I think you would have an audience on both sides, or both sides would still buy it just because that's hilarious of an idea,
isn't it though? Yeah. Make sure you rake your leaves, kids.
You need to think of a line and a brand for that, and then before we release this episode, at least get something established.
That'd be fantastic.
Holy shit, that's brilliant. What's before we're getting close on time here, but talk about your day jobs, because I want to kind of go back a little bit to
sure.
working with the disabled. Now, that's not the job you're doing now, but you did work with people. Teaching art to people who were disabled.
Yeah. So I worked at a place that it was an art center for people with disabilities. The idea being that you would teach them actual art, not just condescending. Here's a coloring book, kind of thing. So I learned how to teach actual grown-up art lessons to people that have difficulty even just tying their shoe or any kind of functioning really.
Okay.
And I found that.
Were you like trying to find specific mediums of art that they could do based on cognitive or skills?
I worked with whatever I can do. I'm a 2-dimensional guy, so drawing, painting, anything like that. I found it really rewarding to be able to work with them. It was more like the company that I didn't like working for eventually, but I loved all the people that I worked for.
Okay.
And that led me to taking on a job my current day job, where I help vulnerable adults build up independent living skills.
Okay.
So the idea being that, we work with some people that they're just this close to living, not necessarily a normal life, but with way less services, like their own apartment, maybe get a job, that kind of stuff. And that's helped me out too, because I identify with all of them, with all this stuff, because like the majority of people you run into with some kind of disability, they probably have depression too.
That's a good point.
They go hand in hand.
God, I did something at a point I never took time to appreciate. Yeah, it's got to be fucking depressing to be.
Well, sure. I mean,
less functioning and less.
If you're hearing voices in your head telling you to kill yourself every day, and from your schizophrenia, I'd be pretty fucking depressed too.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So,
the first job, when you were teaching the art to the disabled, well, where are those people? When you say disabled, what is the range of disability that's?
Well, I've worked with everybody. I mean, you name it, I've probably worked with it. I've worked with blind people. I've worked with deaf people. I've worked with people with cerebral palsy.
How does you translate art to a blind person, 2-dimensional drawing art? How does that?
It's not easy.
Right.
In a way, you can use certain art materials to create like a textured drawing surface. So they're sort of feeling out where they want to go. It's all abstract, but it is.
You remember the movie Mask?
Yes.
And when he's teaching the blind girl what colors were by, like, here's a rock was like frozen. And like, this is blue.
Yeah, because it's cold. Yeah.
And here's something that's hot and it's red.
I did some kind of similar things to that. Yeah, definitely. So it wasn't easy. It's definitely a challenge.
Here's something old, and he just hands him Cher, and there's something really old.
Well, here's Cher's original face anyway.
No shit.
Here's a jar of it, and then.
And here's a shot of her riding a big gun in one of her music videos on a ship. That was very weird for an old lady to be doing. But,
you. I remember that, Nick.
So, what can you tell me about the art that they would create? Was there a trends based on disabilities? If there was like a schizophrenic, would they have
a lot of abstract art?
Okay.
What those people in art would call like non-objective, meaning like I taught a lot of splatter art where they just sort of splattered stuff, mixed colors, and sort of played around with that kind of field. But those that had the ability to do so, I learned how to teach people some pretty realistic stuff.
Cool.
It all had to do with what they could do, and I worked within their realm. I challenged them,
right?
But I didn't try to make it so they dumb it down or make it so they couldn't possibly do anything. You find out what they're into.
Did you discover anybody with like some cool talent that
yeah.
maybe you know?
No, I worked
Any
with
success story that you
super talented people, like people that they had their own art shows, within our community, and I was really proud of them. They had a lot of good moments.
What was that? There was something recently, and I apologize to the people who do this because I know it's important. I was hearing it on KFan a lot, It seems like last year they were doing something, and I want to say it was mental health related, where they would decorate a mask, and the mask they would be like a reflection of their mental. Do you remember hearing anything about that?
I think I've heard of that. I don't think we did
some kind
anything
of charity
like
program.
That. Yeah. I don't think we did anything like that. But yeah, I mean, people, they found different ways to express themselves, and I learned some pretty cool ways to actually get autistic people to talk through their artwork because they were nonverbal.
Okay.
You know, like they couldn't speak, but they could put down on paper what it is they were feeling, either writing down stuff or drawing it, and it was another form of communication for them.
And that's got to be a huge step for them as far as treatment wise, just to know that, okay, now I have this new avenue of communication and connection with people.
I mean, it
plus you're
depends
treating them like a normal human being. That's got to feel fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah. No, I've always had a thing where I treat people exactly the same way I would anybody else. Unfortunately, I just treat most people like shit, so.
Same. Quality of shit. And then the next job, it's the life skills one. Is that the one you were talking about where you had dealt with some people that bad suicides gone wrong? And
no, that was the job before that.
Oh, okay.
So people that had tried to kill themselves, and that is now why they are disabled as opposed to before. And so, when you have those moments you were thinking about killing yourself, like, I don't want to end up like so and so, because you'd be surprised what a human being can survive.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
without exposing anybody's names or details, or get yourself in any kind of
well,
trouble. Yeah, can you give some examples of basically what's kind of the gore story of
one of the worst ones? This person tried to eat a gun, and they successfully ate that gun, and they were still here with us.
And how did that affect their life? What was their function?
Not functioning well. No, they were able to maybe feed themselves and talk, but their memory was gone. It wasn't very good.
Okay, see, that was my next question. Was like, did you ever get into the conversation like, "Fuck, I wish I wouldn't have done this,"
Yeah, no. The level of like cognizance goes down considerably when you take out large chunks of your brain.
Yeah.
So.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No. It's a fucked up thing. So I mean, if you're really planning on doing it, you'd have to.
Is there a happy like oh yeah, I fucked up, I didn't kill myself? Is there somebody who's like, I'm happy I'm alive?
You know what?
Still?
There were people that now that they've gone through that, they actually were happier.
No shit.
Even despite the disability. Yeah.
God, yeah.
That's the human spirit. I mean, people can come through a whole lot of horseshit and still find meaning.
That's true. Well, I want to, when we end this, I want to talk about your ending message of this. But is there anything before we get to that? Is there anything else that you want to mention, or something I neglected to ask about that you think is important? Either about
people, just make sure you're supporting all your local artists. There's a ton of us out there. The Twin Cities are an amazing creative community that I've been able to tap into. I've met
for every kind of art. I mean, just anything you think of, we got.
I've met comedians who led me on to musicians, and I've met actors, and it's all tied together. Like, you can't step into a creative field in this town without getting to know the rest of it. So the Twin Cities is where it's at, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Well, cool. So, in message then, you mentioned the word hope as far as dealing with depression.
Yeah, no, just when you have those moments, I mean, just seek help. It's there. Like, you can get it. Like, they find a person to talk to. The last therapist I've seen, I kind of equated to just like confessions. So I mean, if that's not your avenue, go find your priest and talk to them.
Right.
There's somebody out there that will at least listen. I mean, the more you vent, the better the chance you are of like finding that thing that's ruining your life, and you can fix it. At least work on it. I mean, it's a constant work, but it's worth it, because then you stay alive and you can experience what tomorrow brings up.
Right. Yeah, no, I've wasted a lot of time, worrying and then being depressed and then not doing anything with it, or finding a solution for it, and that's just so much time that you're never going to get back.
So many people I've worked with, that have addiction problems. I mean, you're self-medicating.
Yeah.
I mean, if you figure that out, what it is you're trying to treat, what's wrong in your life with that thing, and whether it be drinking or drugs or whatever, overeating, I don't know if there's anything that's too much sex, but that's a whole different discussion.
Right.
But there's
definitely some unsafe sex. I think a result from that.
Yes, that is
risk
true.
taking and things
That
like
is
that.
true. But the hope is out there. You just got to find it, and you got to work with it and stick with it. It's worth it in the end.
Good message.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for coming in. Thank you for taking time and sharing both the cool stuff about your career and opening up and being very honest. I know it's got to be a difficult thing to talk about, and
Can be. Yeah.
and I've already taken something from it too. So you've helped me in the process. So thank you
Right
for
on.
that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well. There we go. Another quality, filter-free America podcast episode is finished. Right? When you got like a fancy film, that's a little fin. Right? We're done. It's over. There it is. We got done talking with Doug. Did you enjoy it? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed having a conversation with him. I think he's a very, very interesting guy, as well as a very talented guy. I'm envious of his ability to draw things, especially his ability to draw naked women, because it would really save you a lot of money on porn. So there we go. Again, support him by going to freerangecomics.com, freerangecomics.com. Check out his art, buy his art, like his art, support his art, share his art, because trust me, art is hard to make money on. It really, really is. And definitely, I again, like I said in the beginning in the intro, if you like this podcast, you're going to like his art. So make sure you go check that out. Another shout out to our regular sponsor, simplewebsite.us. Simplewebsite.us. That's the place you need to go when you need help building your Squarespace website. Go there, help them out, let them know I sent you. Also, another shout out to Hangover Candle Company. Joey and Hangover Candle Company, thank you for the dope ass candles. I will be burning those very shortly in my next recording. And anything else? Oh, yeah, filterfreeamerica.com, America misspelled with a K. Make sure you go to the website. Make sure you have connected to all the Filter Free America social media stuff. It's only 3. I'm not trying to do too much. It's Instagram, it's Twitter, it's Facebook. Connect with all those, because when the CD drops, my CD releases, digital release is going to be on 8/21, and I should have physical copies around either before or slightly after that one as well, too. Make sure you like all the social media, because I'm going to be giving away a lot of cool shit. I'm going to give away t-shirts, decals, digital downloads, physical copies of the CDs, I'm getting some posters made. Doug, the guy who I just interviewed, is putting together in poster form the CD art, because the CD art is so dope. I was like, dude, I got to have a poster of that, at least for me, so other people like it too. So I'm going to put together things. I'm going to have him sign them. I'm going to sign some of them and give those as well too. So maybe, if he or I die in like some crazy way, and it becomes highly collectible, then you'll have both of our signatures. Whatever. Sell it on eBay. I don't give a shit. So that's everything. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. I've been very delinquent in putting up new episodes. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Working, 40 hours a week, doing comedy, getting the CD together, still doing my, health and fitness, lose weight thing in the gym 5 days a week. Time crunch has been real, to say the least. But now that the CD is done, getting it done, finishing it up this week, I'll have more time to dedicate to that too. I've got some comedy dates coming up, and I just don't have them in front of me right now. I've already mentioned them in some past episodes. But next episode I put out, I'll next new episode, because I think I'm also going to put out a classic episode here pretty soon. Regardless, find all that stuff. Message me on Facebook if you want to. If you want to go to a show, I got some stuff coming up. Whatever. I'm not going to beat you guys to death. Are we done with this episode? I think I've rambled enough. Right? Hold on, I got a burp. Oh, God, that was a silent one. Sorry, too much of this delicious, super chill, unsweetened pomegranate and berry sparkling water beverage. It gets to me sometimes. But I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Start the new year off right with a positive worldview. Put positive energy out in the world, because quite honestly, I think that's the only thing that can save us at this point, is if we all just stop acting like assholes, right? Just start being, good people to other people, to other humans, to other animals, to other things. Love each other, take care of each other. I don't know. Don't masturbate too much. There, see, I got another one in there. See how I did that? God damn it. Every episode. I'm an old ass junior high school student. I have the mentality of a 7th grader. But that's fine. I'm happy with it. I'm fine with it. Enough people put up with it. And apparently you guys like it too, because you guys keep coming back and listening. So I thank you for that. FilterFreeAmerica.com. Hit it up. Rate and review the podcast. And go off into the world. Good people. And try to change the world for the better each and every day. Keep seeking the truth. Bye-bye.